Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kirby Katipay and I'm here to discuss about the Module 3, about the prisons, etc. So, next slide. So, in the lesson 3, so study on institutional agency in the Philippines, Code of Kalansiaw, Bilibid Prison, San Ramon Prison, and Penal Farm. Iwahig Penal Colony will be discussed later. So, next slide. So, correctional institution for women, New Bilibid Prison, Davao Penal Colony, Sablayan Penal Farm, Leyte Regional Prison, Provincial Jail System, and Public Attorney's Office, OPAW. So, so all of that is discussing about the corrections, and it talks about how we correct the offender or the prisoner inside the imprisonment, or how they change the behavior of the offender according to the community. So next slide. So during the colonial time, so the informal prison system was community based. So as there were no national penitentiary to speak of natives who defied or violated the local laws were made it appropriate penalties by the local chieftain. So the the one so our natives, native people, so the one who punish them is their higher superior. They gave punishment to the violated law from their cultures. So correction in the Philippines started. So so next slide. So I mean, it was all of this is during the Spanish regime. So when an organized corrective service was made operational. So next slide. So the formal prison system in the Philippines started during the Spanish regime. So where an organized corrective services was made operational, established in 1847, pursuant to Section 1708 of the Revised Administrative Code, and formally opened by Royal Decree in 1865. So the Old Bilibid Prison was constructed as the main penitentiary on Orqueta Street, Manila, and designed to house the prison population in the country. So this prison became known the carcel. So the carcel was designed to house 600 prisoners who were segregated according to the class and sex and crime, while the Presidio could accommodate 527 prisoners. So the plans for the construction of the prison were first published on September 12, 1859. So but it was until April 10, 1866 that was the entire facilities was completed. So next slide. But before I forgot, in addition, the prison occupied a quadro quadrangular quadro-triangular piece of land 180 meters long on each side. So which was formerly as part of the Mayhalik estate in the heart of Manila. So it housed a building for the officers and quarters of the prison warden. So and the 15 buildings or departments for prisoner that were arranged in a radial way to form spokes. So the central tower formed the hub. Under this tower was the chapel. So this slide is from concrete modern 200 bed capacity hospital as well as the new dormitories for the prisoners were added on carpentry. So in August 21, 1869, the San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm in Zamboanga City was established to confine Muslim rebels and recalcitrant political prisoners opposed to the Spanish rule. The facility, which faced the Hulu Sea and the Spanish-inspired dormitories and was originally set on 1,414 hectares sprawling estate. So, next slide. So, when the Americans took over the 1990s, so the Bureau of Prison was created under the Reorganization Act of 1905. Act number 1407 dated in November 1, 1905 as an agency under the Department of Commerce and Police. So, the main penitentiary was the old Bilibid Prison in Oroqueta Street, Manila, which was established in 1847. So, pursuant to Section 1708 of the Revised Administrative Code, it was formally opened by a royal decree in 1865. So, about 4 years later, on August 21, 1869, the San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm in Zamboanga City was established to continue Muslim rebels and recalcitrant. So, political prisoners opposed to the Spanish rule. So, the facility which faces Hulu Sea, so, has the Spanish-inspired dormitories and originally set on 1,414 hectares sprawling. So, next slide. So, but before the reconstruction of San Ramon Prison, the American established in 1904 the Luhit Penal Settlement, now Iwahid Imprisonment and the Penal Farm. So on vast reservation of 28,072 hectares, it would reach an aggregate total land area of 40,000 hectares in the late 1950s. So it was located in the westernmost part of the archipelago and far from the main town to confine ingrugginable who the government had found little hope of rehabilitation. So the area was expanded to 41,007 hectares. So, by virtue of Executive Order number 67 issued by the government, Newton Galbert on October 15, 1912, so other penal colonies were established during the American regime. So, it was on November 27, 1929. So, the Correctional Institution for Women or CIW was created under Act 9, number 3579, while Davao Penal Colony in southern Mindanao was opened in 1932 under Act number 3732. So the CIW was found was founded to provide separate facilities for women offenders and cater to their gender difference. So to date, it was the lone women's prison in the country. So next slide. So next is after American regime, two more penal institutions were established. So this was Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm in Occidental Mindoro. So under Proclamation number 72 issued in September 26, 1954. So and Leyte Regional Prison under the Proclamation number 1101 issued on January 16, 1973. So the Bureau of Prison was renamed Bureau of Corrections under the new administrative code of 1987. So it was issued in November 23, 1987. So and proclamation number 495 on the president, it is one of the attached agency under the supervision of control of the Department of Justice. So next slide. So after the liberalization of the Philippines and the reservation was transferred to the Philippine government, which instructed the Bureau of Prison to use facility for the confinement of maximum security prisoners. So for several years, incredible were mixed with political prisoners, thus convicted of rebellion. So at the Fort Bonifacio facility until June 30, 1968, when it was converted into a prison exclusively for political offenders. So after a bloody April in 1969 riot at the Muntinlupa facility, however, incredible prisoner from Muntinlupa were transferred at Fort Bonifacio. Excuse me. So during the administration of the President Diosdado Macapagal, and Fort was renamed Fort Andres Bonifacio. The correctional facility was also renamed Fort Bonifacio Prison. So the one-story building now stands on the 1 hectare area. So the Fort Bonifacio Prison continued to be a satellite prison of the National Penitentiary even after martial law was lifted. So it was only in late 1980s so that the facility was vacated by the Bureau of Prison. So next slide. Next slide. So the correctional prisons stockade. So in 1908, during the American regime, some 100 prisoners were transferred from the Old Bilibid prison to Corrections Island to work under military authorities. So the inmates were transported not to serve time but for prison labor. So until the outbreaks of the Second World War, inmates from Old Bilibid prison were regularly sent to corridor for labor purposes. So when the war broke out, prisoners on corridor were returned to Bilibid prison to to the islands. Island prison was never reopened. So next slide. So Code of Kalanchaw. So the Code of Raha Kalanchaw was supposed legal code in the epic history Maragtas that it is said to have been written in the in 1433 by Dato Kalanchaw. So a chief of the island of Negros and the Philippines, the code of is now believed that by many historians to have been hoax and that is had actually been written in 1913 so by Jose A. Marco as a part of his historical fiction Las Antiguas Leyendas de la Isla de Negros. So this is by by Dato Kalanchaw. So next slide. So the first article from Code of Kalanchaw is you shall not kill, neither shall you steal, neither shall you do harm to the age, lest you incur the danger of death. All those who infringe this order shall be condemned. So condemned to death by being drowned in the river or in a boiling water. So the next article, you shall obey, let all your deeds with the headman be met punctually. He who does not obey shall receive for the first time 100 lashes in the dead and is large. He shall be condemned to thrust his hand in boiling water thrice. For the second time, he shall be beaten to death. Article 3. Obey you. Let no one have women and that are very young, nor more than he can support, nor be given to the excessive lust. He who does not comply with obey and observe that this order shall be condemned to swim for 3 hours for the first time and for the second time to be beaten death with sharp thorns. So all of this it is all the law provided by Dato Kalanchaw and for the people to for the people of his surrounding need to be follow his order for them to survive or for them not to punish. So next slide. So the next article is observe and obey. Let no one disturb the quiet of the graves when passing by the caves and trees where they are. Give respect to them. He who does not observe this shall be killed by ants or beaten to death with thorns. Article 5. You shall obey he who exchange for food. Let it be always done in accordance with his word. He who does not comply shall be beaten for 1 hour. He who repeats the offense shall be exposed for 1 day among ants. Next slide. Article 6. You shall be obligated to revere sites that are held in respect, such as those of trees of recognized worth and other sites He who fails to comply shall pay with 1 month work in gold or in honey. So next article, this shall be put to death. He who kills trees or venerable appearance, who shoot arrows at night, and old men and women, he who enters the houses of the headman without permission, he who kills a shark or a street cayman. So, the Article 8 is slavery for a certain period of time shall be suffered by those who steal away the women of the headman, by him who keep ill-tempered dogs, and bite the headman, by him who burns the fields of another. So all these shall be beaten for 2 days. So who sings while traveling by nights, kill the manual, so tears the documents belonging to the headman, are malicious liars, or who mock the dead. So next slide. It is a decree and obligation that every mother teach secretly to her daughters matters pertaining to lust, and prepare them for her daughters matters for womanhood. So let not men be cruel, not nor punish their women when they catch them in the act of adultery. Whoever shall disobey shall be killed by being cut of cut to pieces and thrown to the caimans. So next article, this shall be born who by their strength or cunning have mocked at the escape punishment, or who have killed young boys or tried to steal away the women of the elders. So next slide. So this shall be drawn all who interfere with their superior or their owners or masters, all those who abuse themselves through their lust, those who destroy their anitos or idols by breaking them or throwing them down. So all these shall be exposed to ants, or for half a day, who kill black cats during a new moon, or steal anything from the chips or agorangs, however small the object may be. So next article, Article 14, this shall be made slave for life, who have beautiful daughters and deny them to the sons of chief, and with bad faith hide them away. So next slide. So in Article 15, concerning beliefs and superstitions, this shall be beaten who ate that the diseased flesh or beast which they hold in respect, or the herb which they considered good, who wound or kill the young of the manual or the white monkey. So Article 16, the fingers shall be cut off of all those who breaks idols or anitos of woods and clay in their alangans and temples, or those who destroy the daggers of the tagalons, or break the drinking jars of the latter. So next slide. So, the Article 17, "These shall be killed who profane sites where idols are kept, and sites where are buried, buried in the the sacred things of their diwatas and hidman. He who performs necessities in those places shall be burned." So the last article, "Those who do not cause these rules to be obeyed, if they are headman, they shall be put to death by being stoned and crushed, and if they are agorangs, they shall be placed in rivers to be eaten by sharks and caimans." So all of this article provided by Dato Kalanchaw for them in their daily lives, their their basis in their daily routine or daily daily lives, and who 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 not obey the rules will be punished accordance to the code or accordance to the article. So that's all in the first video. So thank you.